I had a bus driver. My bus driver's name is Miss Betty. And anyway, I wrote a song about her husband who gave me my first job as a hay hauler. I was a hay hauling kid. And she always said, I want you, when are you going to write my song? When are you going to write my song? I couldn't think of what to write about. It's horrible. But then all of a sudden one day, I decided what I was right about. She was my bus driver. Then she got Alzheimer's. And that really kind of kicked me in the butt. I said, okay, I got to get this done. And when I finished the song, she was still in pretty good shape, actually. But there at the end, believe it or not, she would come into the club, and she always sat at the same place. And she'd walk in, and I'd walk up to her. She says, I remember you. I can't remember your name. But she'd sit there in that seat and sing every word to this song along with me. So it just makes me smile every time I sing it. It's my story. Miss Betty drove the bus for all of us that live down in the country. I was the first one on in the morning and the last one off in the afternoon. We must have rode around the world a couple times together on gravel roads and blacktops through all kinds of weather. And I'd look up in that mirror and I'd see Miss Betty and me. We picked up David Aubuchon and Cindy and Renee, a half a dozen other kids before the break of day. And you could set your watch at 7 when we'd pick up Cousin Mark. And Miss Betty, she saw trouble, so she kept us to a park. Then 2 or 3 big families, that bus got pretty full. Miss Betty always right on time, let us off at school. Miss Betty drove the bus for all of us that lived down in the country. I was the first one on in the morning and the last one off in the afternoon. We must have rode around the world a couple times together on gravel roads and blacktops through all kinds of weather. And I'd look up in that mirror and I'd see Miss Betty and me. Miss Betty and me. We slid down Nebo Hill one time backwards in the snow. We met a tractor on a curve one time and he ran us off the road. We got sideways on a one-way bridge and had to flee the bus. And we waited for an hour for someone to pick us up, and we broke down in Pink Root Holler, had a flattened Oreo. But somehow Miss Betty, she always got us home. Miss Betty drove the bus for all of us that lived down in the country. I was the first one on in the morning and the last one off in the afternoon. We must have rode around the world a couple times together on gravel roads and blacktops through all kinds of weather. And I'd look up in that mirror and I'd see Miss Betty and me. Miss Betty and me. Miss Betty and me. Miss B.